works of 23 artists and scholars from India, France, Pakistan, Brazil, UK, Italy, Belgium, Mexico, Colombia, US, Rumania and other countries. The purpose is concrete and simple, same as the first issue, stimulating the thought, awakening desire for the arts. I warmly welcome Mr. Damien Syed. Welcome to our bookstore, Damien, and the Consul General of France. I welcome Fabrice Plançon, Director, Alliance Française, Jean-Frédéric Chevallier, Co-Director of Trimukhi Platform and Managing Editor of the publication, our own Anjum Katyal, English Editor of the publication, and Soumya Sankar Bose, Kolkata-based photographer whose work is published in the second issue. And I would like to add here that we are delighted to associate with Bonjour India. This is our first of many events that we will be doing over the year, and we are very, very pleased about this association that we wish to take to greater heights. Thank you so much, and now I hand over to
Thank you so much, Maina, and thank you so much to welcome us at Oxford Bookstore. It was not planned like that, but finally I prepared a kind of speech that you only do for political right. So I will be reading it, and then we will unveil the book. The evening that is starting now is meant officially to convince you to buy our book. The problem is I am not much into business. In fact, I am very bad at it. I will try and explain you why not to buy it. Because at least there is one good reason for it. The reason was given to me by a bookstore manager in the south suburb of Paris, where our journal was in display. The lady told me that plenty of people had a look at our book because its aesthetic is very appealing, but nobody finally bought it because there are too many things in it. She suggested me to publish a lighter version with much less content. In a way, she's right. Our publication is heavy loaded. In 194 pages and 750 grams, you'll find short essays, political text, and visual works by 23 artists and scholars from India, France, Pakistan, Brazil, UK, Italy, Belgium, Mexico, Japan, Colombia, US, Chad, Rumania and Canada. And there are too many topics. It's about painting by the famous artist Pierre Soulages. It's about African folk literature by the writer Kulsi. It's about dance with the choreographer Palovi Chakravorty. It's about sound art with the professor Jean-Paul Keinec. It's about theater with the acclaimed director Romeo Castellucci. It's about philosophy, but also sociology, sociology of contemporary arts, with the sociologist Natalia Illich. Just to mention few of them and not make your indigestion too bad. In poetry, or better said, poetical writings, there are texts by Navnita Devsen, translated by her daughter Nanda Devsen, who may arrive in a few minutes. A long, very long and unique sentence by Joseph Danon, a digression by awarded novelist Emmanuel Piret about the need of both to have a laptop and children toys to compose and perform poetry. Another trouble you may have, if finally you buy the book, is that it's in two languages, French and English. And we didn't translate all the French into English, neither all the English into French. We choose what would be interesting to read in France, for example, or what would be interesting to read in India. Every sometime we publish an author in both languages, but not with the same text. In the case with Maina Bhagat from Romania, from whom we have translated in English poems that are not those you find in French. It's because we love diversity. With our publication on today's art practices, we want to give a glimpse of this diversity. That's why also our book is so unacademic. You will not find there the normal analysis, the traditional poetry you are used to. Because we want you to discover other aspects of arts, aspects you still never heard about. And it works. I show our first issue to my grandmother, and let me add that my grandmother is 95 years old, and she lives alone in a remote village. She took the book from me, went to the sofa, sat down, put the book on her lap, and started to look at it. She kept the text for a very limited time and concentrated on the images. That is our visual art section. She looked carefully, taking time to contemplate each page, and then she told me with an exclamation, "Ah, that is really art." She was watching a very contemporary composition by the Bengali Chitrabhanu Majumdar and the French Henri Baron. She had never heard about them before, and of course, never she had the opportunity to see their work. It was completely new for her, and she could feel that something deep and strong was happening in her while watching these art pieces. She felt like a push, like a stimulation, a flow of intensity, and she enjoyed it. That is exactly what I am wishing will happen to all of you discovering our second issue, to enjoy it. We want both to stimulate your thought regarding all the arts that are being produced in our present world, and we want to awaken desire to fabricate arts in an unbelievable diversity of ways. To make this possible, we have a small team of enthusiastic human beings. Some are in France, in charge of the French edition, and some are in India to take care of the English part of the book. The drafting committee is composed by Berta Diaz, Anjum Katyal, Damayanti Lahiri, Gwenel Barrault, Chitrabhanu Majumdar, Willy Luc, Marie-Laurence Favreau, me, and my wife. It's because we are a diversity of people working together to give birth once in a year to a book that our book is heavily loaded with diversity. And let me conclude this political rally style text by reading beautiful work by the philosopher Denis Guénon.
The yearly publication Fabricate, Fabric of Art, in some respects resembles our world. It reflects its beauty across its planetary stretch from west to east, from the Americas to Asia. We can feel its vibration of multiplicity and difference. Of course, it makes no claim to offer a portrait of the globe, but it is a unique enterprise through the plurality it summons, and also as a singularized and not eclectic plurality, given that a very strong viewpoint underpins and supports it. So that's a quote which bears testimony to Fabricate.
So now we are finished with the business part. We will start the serious things. I will invite Damien Syed, General Consul of France in Kolkata, to officially unveil the book and say a few words about it.
So you're finished now? Ok. Hey, tu, Tina. Ragazzi. je viens ici. Ça, je leur sers bizarrement. Good evening. Shubo Shonda. Bonsoir. Thank you very much to Oxford Bookstores. Thank you very much to Mrs. Maina Bhagat for welcoming us today for this special event. Thank you for your words of introduction. Thank you, Jean-Frédéric Chevallier, for inviting me tonight for this important event. It's a great pleasure indeed to release this second issue of the yearly Indo-French publication on contemporary art. It is, as you mentioned, a very cosmopolitan publication with authors, artists, scholars from different continents, different countries across the world. It's also a very rich content, as it was also said, with miscellaneous creations, visual art, poetry, sound art. It sounds like music, but it's not music. Sound art, performing art. Performing art, it means live performance. I'm sure it is very lively and vibrant as soon as we open the publication. And you were right. You rightly mentioned that the content, like your grandmother could witness, could experience it, is a demanding experience. The reading is not so easy. You gave me a copy a few days ago, and I must admit, reading it requires some efforts. But I know you, Trimukhi Platform, like challenges, you like putting the bar high, and we have another example of your courage, because I would like to congratulate you and all the team, all the 23 authors for this high quality intellectual, artistic work. Congratulations. It's not easy. It was a lot of effort. I am grateful to Trimukhi Platform, also not only for this publication, but also for, on a personal level, for inviting me last January at the Night of Theatre. It was in Borodalpada village, the Santal village, at the border between Orissa and Bengal. And I must say it was maybe the most memorable experience for me since I am in Bengal. It was a unique moment. I would say, yes, out of ordinary, unique, unprecedented, almost unthinkable. You have to see it by yourself to believe what you are watching. So this kind of performance, theater, display in the middle of the Santal village, in the countryside. I remember very well being with you at 2 o'clock in the morning, debating about the links between art and thought. It was a bit unreal, but that's what art is about. It reminded me the quote of André Malraux, French writer, former French Minister of Culture. André Malraux who said, art is the shortest way from a human to another. And I find this quote very meaningful and very true. What you do, Trimukhi Platform, through this yearly event in Borodalpada, and now with this yearly publication, it is indeed building bridges between different people, Bengali, French, Canadian, Colombian, Japanese. You bring people together, and that I find this idea, of course, very beautiful. That's what we do. Also at the consulate, at Alliance Française, we are here to create links between our countries, our cultures, and you do it in a wonderful way. You open new horizons. That's really what we feel when we immerse in your universe. And so that's why I wanted to congratulate you, to thank you, and that's why I didn't hesitate to be present tonight with you. So to conclude, I will conclude with another quote I like. It's a Greek art historian, Nikos Hadjinikolaou, who once said, "A work of art exists as such from the moment it is viewed." So don't wait longer to view this new publication. Congratulations once again. I wish you all the best, very best of luck for this new issue and for the next one. We look forward to the third edition, the third issue. I'm sure you have started to work on it. So again, all the best. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Damien, as always, to help us. I give some details because you mentioned several things. For this publication, we received the support of the program of publication of the Institut Français in India. And the Night of Theatre you were mentioning, it's indeed the second yearly activity we are having, and the next one you got the postcard on your seat. It will happen on 27th January, and you can go this evening to book at Alliance Française once this event is finished. I did not mention because I already told it's too heavy loaded, but we are working also on a Bengali version of our journal with Kansan and Kopaya with Age, and we are supposed to publish also from Mexico, but printed in Kolkata, a Spanish version. I will now invite Anjum Katyal to say a few words. We prepare little the event, so in reality we already planned which question I will ask her, so it will be easier for her. Anjum Katyal, I told is part of our drafting committee. This is since almost 1 year. But since very few months, maybe a couple of months, Anjum is also our English editor, in charge of the English part of the book. And we are very happy about it. So the question we prepare, and I have to ask, it's the following one. What you like about Fabrique of Art that made you come on board? So first as a member and now as a main member.
Thank you very much, Jean-Frédéric. When I first heard about this journal that was being prepared, we heard about it in a moment of crisis, which was that he was already at the printers, it was on the machine, and there was a crisis of funding, and so I was sort of plunged into the middle of the drama of trying to make this very beautiful thing happen. And luckily we managed to work out something and it did come out. But what I really responded to in this particular publication was there were many things that attracted me and which made me want to support it, want to see it live, want to see it succeed. I love the fact that the emphasis was on process, fabrication, making, creating, because very often we lose sight of the fact that art is not just about the end product, but it is even more about the journey and the making of the product. And without that, without the search and the disappointments and the risks and the failures, it is not going to be possible to have a really thriving art scene. But what happens nowadays is that most of the time sponsors are only interested in the end result. And that's what you get the money for. And what really takes a beating is the support that's needed for the long process that goes into creating that. And I see a lot of artists, all kinds, performance artists, visual artists, photographers, suffering because the emphasis is so much placed on the output and the outcome rather than the discovery and the process. So I love the fact that Jean-Frédéric kept emphasizing, even in the name of the journal, that it's all about that how is art made, the thinking, the ideas, the clashes, the risks of that. So that was one thing. The second thing I really loved about it was the very, very non-compromisingly high standards of production. And used to, I cut my teeth in publishing in a publishing house, Seagull Books, that insisted on high qualities of production, editorial as well as design, as well as paper and binding and everything that goes into the respect that expresses the respect with which the work is done. When you cut corners on any level, you are actually disrespecting the product, the work of art that you produce. So I was very happy to see that there was that much thought and respect being given to the paper. You find beautiful thick paper, the layout, the design. It was all very innovatively done without any attempt to make it, less than it can or should have been. So that was the other thing I really liked. The third thing I really liked about it was the internationalism of it, what he calls diversity, which is another way of saying it. I love the fact that it is coming out of Calcutta. It's based here, or it's based not just in Calcutta, but also in the areas in which they work, which is outside the city. But it takes in people who are thinking about art from across the world and writing about it in their different languages. So I thought that was very interesting, because I think less and less of that is happening nowadays. In some ways, there are very quick little collaborations happening, but this kind of commitment to a long-term, holding hands across languages and cultures was, I think, very exciting for me. And then the other thing that I really liked about it was the challenge of the material. It's really, we were talking about the fact that it's difficult to read. And I think that we need to put some difficulty back into art. I mean, it's slipping so far towards entertainment and amusement and quick fixes and quick reads that it's kind of losing something very, very important. There's a reason why art was important to society. And there will always be art that is meant to relax you and meant to make you feel amused and be pleasant. But there should always also be art that challenges you and that makes you think in a way that you're not used to thinking. And just to give you an example before I stop talking, this is an issue that I have to admit I haven't been able to go through fully, because each piece demands concentration and I haven't had that kind of time. But almost anywhere I open the book, I find something interesting that hooks me. And then I stop and I want to understand and I want to read. And just as an example, I just opened at random before coming here, and I found this thing on the art of the fragment. Peace weapon is the question mark. And it starts with saying the fragment is a weapon, violent and precious in times of war, but to elude the war, let's hope for it. The fragment interrupts the insane logic of the book, which denounces and literally delivers thought to the fires of fascists. Now, as soon as I read this line, everything in me rebelled. Because I was like, what are they trying to say? The fragment is the curse of the age in some ways to me. Everything is fragmented, everything is quick and small and 20 characters and Instagram and everything is happening like that. And the deeper, more flowing narratives are not really being allowed to live. That was one reaction I had. But then so what I like about something like this is it really forces you to think. And then I started reading it and I started giving it a chance to make its point. And I realized that it's a very interesting argument that's being developed, and I would definitely want to stay with it and think about it a lot more. So that's just an example of what a journal like this can do. It can really make you stop in your tracks and think things through. So thank you for giving me a chance to be part of it.
Thank you so much, Anjum. We prepare also the next question with Soumya Sankar Bose, with one of the artists we are lucky to have in our second issue. With Anjum, we selected your work, no? Because we were very excited about it. So the question we prepare, and you asked me to ask you, it's on your side. How do you feel to be part of, to have your work being part of such a journal?
I think the question was like, what do you think that Fabricate word is related to your work?
Yeah.
So I want to share this. First thing you mailed me, like you are making this book, and Anjum, you like selected my work to be in the book. So the first thing came to my mind, like this Fabricate word is kind of very interesting, and it's also contradictory with photography, because if someone says that photography we are fabricating with the images, so people will start thinking that means that photography is not telling you the truth or reality. So maybe you are making something, but you know, it's like, it's true, but it was like 100 years before when the photography just started. So people start thinking about how we will use the photography in the art medium. But then the things change, and then people start thinking about how we can use lots of images in a particular work, and how we can use these images as a voice of our art. So particularly for my work, it's very, I think, very suitable work, because when I started to work on the Jatra artist, Jatra is a very old folk theatre art form of Bengal, I mean the United Bengal. It started around 1500 or 1600. And it was very famous up to 1980s, before the internet and revolution came, and it is before my born. So I started to work when I met my grand uncle and said that Jatra is no more. Jatra is no more because there is no earning, there is no people are going to see this art form anymore. So they're really facing so much trouble. So then from my grand uncle and their friend, I start knowing about this art form, the stories behind, because I know Jatra, but everything is in my mind. I have heard about lots of things about Jatra, but I have never seen the proper Jatra, like the Bela Sharkar, Vinodas, who are very famous in past, like in 60s, 70s and 80s. So my entire work was like, I used to listen the memories, the incidents from 60s and 70s, then I staged all the work in the contemporary places, like where they are now. So it's kind of, we both are making the memories in a fictional way, but it's also true because I'm also documenting their memory. Because there were no one documenting their original event in 60s and 70s. So if you try to Google the Jatra, you will get lots of text, information, but you will not find who are the characters were, who are the famous one as Arjun or as Ram or other people. So for me, like, this work is fabrication of all those archives and memories, which is still in their heart or in their mind, and I'm trying to make with those memories in my visual. That's how I relate my work with this book. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your work and for sharing your work in our book. We are about to finish, so now I will invite Fabrice Plançon, Director of Alliance Française, to say a few words, and we invite you to more. With Fabrice, we did not prepare the questions, so I don't know what.
Merci, Jean-Frédéric. I will not speak too much after such expert words. This is a heavy object. This is full of diverse stuff. This is so rich and so diverse. That's really what we try to do every day at Alliance Française, to make culture meet and mix. It's a full experience, full sensitive, multi-sensitive experience. And yes, just after we all finish to talk, we will invite you to continue this full sensitive experience at Alliance Française. What you said, Anjum, is very important. Like with this kind of piece of art, with this kind of experience, to approach, to go closer to the process of creating, to the work of the artist, and not the final product. My first name is Fabrice, which is exactly the same root than fabricate and fabric and fabrication. So maybe my parents hope I would be good to make things and creating things, making things. I don't think I am, but people like you, like me, we can make creators meet and to make circulate all this creation. That's demanding experience to go through it, but that's exactly what you said, to go very closer the work of the artist. And I'm really looking forward to go to the night of the theater, the 27th. I didn't have the chance, like you, Damien, to go last year. I just arrived in the city. That's all about the same idea, to mix different forms of art, to mix different origin and culture. So I'm really happy to start this experience by reading this, by going tonight in 2 minutes to see the installation, the exhibition at Alliance Française, and to continue this evening review, and to go in 2 months in the village, and to go again next year, and the next year, and the next year, as I will be in Bengale in the next 4 or 5 years. Merci beaucoup, Jean-Frédéric. Thank you for this gift, for this experience. And once again, I invite you, just after we finish to talk, and after all of you right now buy this book, we invite you at Alliance Française to talk all together and to have a drink and to continue this meeting all together. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
If you have questions, commentaries.
Or maybe they can ask them.
When we meet over a drink.
Maybe the wine
Will help. Wine will create questions.
Désinhibit you.
Yes.
Yeah. It will be easier to ask questions with the glass of wine. So thank you all. Don't forget to buy the book before going out. If you want more information about Night of Social, it's here, and we wait for you now at Alliance Française with a glass of wine and a video installation.